Hi, this is my Tekken 7 Lee Chaolan guide / character overview, which I'll be talking about the basics on how to play Lee, some tips and tricks that you can use, punishment, frames, all that good stuff. I've been playing Lee for a bit over a year now, so I know a little bit more about the character than most people. And I'll be covering the character in sections, so if you want more specific knowledge, I'll be leaving timestamps to those sections in the video description below. So yeah, let's get started. If you come to this video, you probably wanted to learn more about Lee as a character, or learn how to play him. Lee, fundamentally, is a poke-heavy, poke-oriented, counter-hit-heavy character, which excels, or who excels in keep out and wall carry. The main goal of his offense is to pressure the opponent into the wall, which he can then use 50-50 slide mix-ups to create havoc, and does a lot of damage. He's well known in the community for being execution-based, although I think it's overblown at times. Like, he has the infamous 10-frame Acid Rain, 1-1-2, mistrap, if I can get it. As he's, I don't know, that move isn't that good. What's hard about him is mostly his game plan, in my opinion, if you're asking why he's hard to play. His game plan and the fact that you have to try to optimize everything you do to get efficiency, which requires the execution. And that's kind of hard during pressure situations. So yeah, I'll start with talking about his key moves. So before everything, I just want to talk about his stance, Hitman. He has access to moves that are pretty good, and he transitions to this stance using a variety of ways, usually clicking one of the kick buttons after a move, like so. Hitman, I'll cover the moves in Hitman, I guess. Hitman Stance 3 is a high power crush that's safe on block. Hitman Stance 4 is a snake edge that leaves your opponent grounded, and if they get up, they eat a blazing kick. The blazing kick is guaranteed, even if they're on the ground, but it launches if they try to get up. In any sort of way, get up kicks, anything. So they should stay on the ground. Hitman Stance 2 is a high evading, I wouldn't say crushing. He has some crushing in his startup frames for that move, so you can use it to crush jabs and launch your opponent, get a combo. He has Hitman Stance up forward 3, which is a safe wall bounce. Pretty good. He has Hitman Stance up forward 4, which is a launcher on counter hit. It's not very practical to use, but something to keep in mind, of course. And he has Hitman Stance 1+2, which is a pretty good mid-check. He also has 1-4 from Hitman. The 4 counter hits, and you could delay the 4, so it's pretty good for baiting opponents who get too button happy. Next key move I'll be talking about is back 4, which is why he's so good at keeping opponents out. He has a magic 4, he has down forward 2, and he has back 4. All of this makes him extremely hard to get in on if you keep clicking buttons, because they all counter hit on launch. Or launch on counter hit, rather. What am I saying? And with the recent buff to his back 4, which is all of this recording, it's on the patch. It recovers 5 frames faster on whiff, so it's virtually safe. Essentially. You don't want to be using back 4 close though, because it's obviously whiff punishable. But you want to be using it at a safe distance. What I'm doing there is back 4 by accident. Next move I'll be talking about is his magic 4. So he has a 11 frame magic 4. Counter hit launcher. Leads to a combo on counter hit. Very fast, good panic move. He has down forward 1, which is the backbone of starting aggression. 13 frames fast, -1 on hit, or -1 on block rather. He has a lot of options that he could do right after the down forward 1. Sidestep, down 3, jab, forward 4, or just continue pressuring, like so. What else? Yeah, 1-2. Just as 1-2 jab. Very good. It transitions to misstep by pressing forward. Misstep is sort of a movement unique to Lee, kind of like back sway but front sway. You can't guard during this movement, and it has access to some moves. It's very important because you want to be using this to create distance or create transitions within your combos, using it and pushing your opponent further to the wall, as well as having access to instant wall rising moves if you press back during the misstep and click on a certain frame, which Lee is ducking. He has 2-2-3, counter hit 10 frame launcher, hit confirmable. Let me just show you. Unsafe. And the third hit is a high, but the move is safe if it's blocked. Most people will duck it though since it's so telegraphed. The second hit is punishable, but most people won't punish it because they're waiting the third hit rather. The third hit. So this is a good high check, good pressure check if you think your opponent's going to retaliate or something while you're up close in their face doing down forward 1s and stuff. It also wall spots, which is really good. Forward 3. Very good mid check from distance. In the neutral you would be using this a lot. Just make sure not to whiff it because it recovers really badly on whiff. But it's safe on block and knocks down on hit. Comes out 16 frames fast. Forward 4. Very good move. A high crushes at the start, or high evades at the start of its animation. So it's very good in close quarter combat, which it can crush jabs. There are some setups actually with forward 4 where if you down back 4, if you go from crouch to a forward 4 state, you can actually crush some mids, and yeah, that's pretty interesting. They buffed that in Season 3. Very good, because it's basically a safe launcher if you have the execution for it. Down forward 2, as I talked about, is a good keep out move. Its range is pretty bad compared to Paul's and Jack's and whatever, everybody else's down forward 2. But it's a safe launcher because, let's see this, -7 on block. It does not launch ducking opponents, however, so just keep that in mind. It's pretty good to throw out occasionally. Forward 4-3. Natural string that's safe and transitions to Hitman if you press 4 right after. It's very good because the second hit counter hits, and you can delay the 3 a little bit. Pretty good for catching button heavy or button happy opponents off guard. He also has a newly added in Season 3 forward 4-1 string, which is used as a substitute for strings, or is used as screw filler in his combos. It's really easy. And back 1-1-2. Really good whiff punish. Comes out pretty fast, 15. Has good range. You want to be doing this like a demo man, which means you want to be tapping right as soon as the hits connect, and you'll get the knockback version. If you spam the move, it doesn't really do anything. It's 29 damage. Every hit is natural, but you want to be doing the knockback if you want to use this move. It's pretty good for initiating pressure. You can transition to Hitman using 3+4 after the first 2 hits, or you can cancel the second hit by pressing forward right after the second hit. If you finish the string, it's actually safe on block, but it's a high, so your opponent can duck it. So keep that in mind. His Power Crush, back 3+4. It's pretty good. In this patch, it actually became a wall bounce, so it's pretty good at the wall. It's pretty bad though, if it's blocked or whiffed, so just make sure you don't do that. It's -15, and it has no pushback, so you're wide open to punishment. Homing moves, 1+2. Pretty good pressure move as well. -4, and you can transition to Hitman with 3+4. Some strats you can use with this are just keeping your opponent in check using the Power Crush after the 1+2, because it can catch most options other than lows and grabs. And after they stop pressing buttons, you can go for slide mix-ups or lows after. Lee is a character that excels in full crouch, and this is something you should keep in mind because he has access to very powerful moves in full crouch. And his other homing move is back 4. It's a high that can lead to a launcher, or it is a launcher if you have that execution. Sometimes it displaces the opponent pretty far, so you can't get the launch, but it's pretty good to throw out occasionally. I wouldn't use this too much in the neutral unless you're very far away, or if you think they're going to sidestep. You can transition to Hitman using 3. If you knock them down and transition to Hitman, you get a guaranteed follow-up and up forward 4. Yeah, so those were some of his key moves. Let's move on to his lows. Down 3, quintessential, like this is his best low, I would say, apart from slide. Comes out 16 frames fast, is a counter hit launcher if you have the execution. You use back 3-3 to pick up. Oh my god. Yeah. If you don't have the execution to do it, because the timing is pretty tight, it also guarantees a Hitman stance 4. You can't pick up if you don't transition to Hitman, so just transition to Hitman right after the down 3 if you ever use it, because I think it recovers faster if you transition to Hitman by 1 or 2 frames as well, so you always want to do that. Down back 3+4, range low. It's pretty chippy as a poke, pretty good for annoying your opponent. It's a counter hit that guarantees, it's a knockdown on counter hit that guarantees some follow-ups. Forward 3+4 is a follow-up, blazing kick's a follow-up. He has down back 3, pretty good poke too, but it's pretty slow. You'll see this with Lee, his lows don't really do too much damage, so his chunky low is his slide, and that's how you make opponents respect lows, unless you chip them enough and annoy them. So yeah, his slide is done using full crouch, down forward, down, down forward 3. In quick succession, this is unseeable. And it's a knockdown that guarantees a 3, so it does 30 damage. Pretty good as his low, but it's locked behind execution, so just practice it. Instead of doing the guaranteed 3, you could also just do another slide mix-up after you recover, because you recover faster than your opponent. Like so. And he has full crouch down forward 4, which is a pretty good low as well. 16 frames. Can surprise your opponent. I think it tracks a little bit for both sides, so it's pretty good to throw out occasionally. It's knockdown on counter hit and has guaranteed follow-ups like the other low, down back 3+4, blazing kick, forward 3+4, yeah, that good stuff. Yeah, let's talk about his launchers now, I guess. Actually, yeah, let's talk about his panic moves since I'm on the topic of key moves. So, like I said, magic 4, down 3, down forward 2, stuff like that. It's pretty good. because they counter hit and they're pretty fast. 16 frames is unseeable, but don't spam this too much. Down 3 is pretty good as a poke, but it leaves you -3 on hit, so just watch out for clicking buttons after. As you can see, if you transition to Hitman, you save some frames. So it's good to transition to just Hitman, in case you get the counter hit as well, to get the launch. A tip, if you're having struggle, or if you're struggling with picking them up, would be just wait till Lee's like left hand moves towards him, and then click your back 3, and then you get your combo, which I'll talk about later. So I talked about the Magic 4 and the down 3 as a panic move. His down 4 is actually pretty good. If you're taking heavy pressure or something like that, and down 3 won't cut it. It's a high crushing low, but if they spam mids all day, you can't really do much about it. Down 4 comes out at 12 frames, so it's pretty fast. You don't want to just use down 4, it's a string. He has 2 variations where he can do down 4, 4, 4, 4, but it's -20 on block. You can transition to Hitman using 3, and it also pushes back your hitbox, so you're less susceptible to punish. Once around, you could do this if your opponent doesn't know. This usually catches people off guard because of the distance created, and your Power Crush would catch them if they click buttons. If you go for the other variation, which is just, it transitions to his Magic 4 strings, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3. Pretty good. If they try to block low, because they think this string is coming, they'll eat the second hit, on hit. So keep that in mind. Pretty good. Steals back pressure like this pretty easily. I often use it, so that's a tip. I wouldn't call it a panic move, but it's pretty good for retaking pressure. And I don't know where else to put this move, so I'm putting it here. Now let's move on to his punishment next. So start off with 10 frame, 1, 2, 4, 26 damage, pretty good. You can transition to Hitman using 3. He has 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 3, of course. This is a just frame, which you have to time the second and third hit, and gives you a guaranteed blazing kick, although the blazing kick's timing has gone tighter in Season 3. So if you can't do the blazing kick after, I would just recommend just doing up, back 3. This is the best 10 frame punish in the game. As you can see, 47 damage, knockdown. Really fucking good if you can do this. 2-1 is also a 10 frame punish. He has some things that come out from 2-1. 2-1 Hitman, 2-1-4, 2-1-1, 2-1-3. 2-1-1 is a counter hit. The last hit's a counter hit and leads to a launch if you use back 3. You have to crouch cancel and then back 3. 2-1-4 on counter hit leaves you with 10 frames of advantage, which you can do a 10 frame. Well, I can't get this right now. But yeah, you can do a 1-2-4, you can do an Acid Rain. And his 2-1-3 is safe on hit and is a counter hit launcher. It screws, and sometimes you could use it as combo filler as the screw. It's especially good if they get knocked out of the air with a jab or so. Let me just demonstrate it. Like so. This is what I usually use to catch opponents or something. You can also do back 2 to pick up, but 2-1-3 is pretty safe and really consistent, I would say. Yeah, so that's it from his 10 frames. 11 frames, 4-4, 4-3, I use 4-3 more than I use 4-4 because of the damage. 4-4 gives you +6, but I would prefer the damage if you're going for a punish. Or at least I prefer it. You could use 4-4, but 4-3 is pretty good. 30 damage. He doesn't have a 12 frame, so you want to be using Acid Rain. Pretty good. 4-4. 4-3 is to cover like longer range, but Acid Rain is to cover his 12 frame. He has a 13 frame, forward 1+2. Oh, whoops. Forward 1+2. It's a knockdown. But as you can see, if you can do Acid Rain, it's much better. Although, Lee has the shortest jab range, I think, of any character. So, sometimes it gets a little bit tricky and you want to use the other punishes. 14 frames. He has 4-2-1. It's a hit confirmable string. Let me just set this. It's safe on block because of the pushback, as you can see. But it's a high. So don't spam this too much, otherwise your opponent can guard or duck the second hit. You can throw this out occasionally, and it wall splats. 1+3 also, 1+2 also wall splats. Forward 1+2. So yeah, that's it for his punishment, I think. Actually, no. His 15 frame is a hop kick. That's his launch. Down forward 2 also comes out 15 frames. His hop kick is pretty bad range. So for 15 frames, I usually use 4-3-3-3-3-3-4, which gives you a built-in screw, so you can't screw anymore in the combo. But it gives pretty good damage, which I'll talk about later. Like the specifics of the combo. You could also use back 1-1-2. That's good too. It has more range, I think, than his other two options. But 4-3-3-3-3 is your go-to. The second, the 4 in the string is actually safe on block. So it's pretty good to throw out as a 15 frame, because most of the time you have mental frame advantage, which they'll be trying to duck the last hit, because the last hit is a high. So often you can come like unpunished from the situation, even though you just used 4-3-3-3 and everything got blocked. It's -18. So it's just a mental frame advantage mix up with the 4, whether or not you finish it. So yeah, I think that's it for his standing punishment. His while rising punishment. Actually, yeah, let's get to his blazing kick, I guess. It's 22 frames. You don't really use this to punish, I don't think. Not really practical, but it's his best launcher. Leads to a combo. His maximum output is like 81 damage from it. Let me just show you. So it's pretty good. Whoops. What am I doing? Sometimes that combo whiffs. But yeah, whatever. I'll cover that in the combo section. While rising, 3-3. His 10 frame while rising punishment. It's his infinite kick string, so you can just keep pressing 3 after, and you have a mid option and a low option after the 2 kicks. You can do this by pressing down on the 3rd hit, or after the 2nd hit, along with the 3. And you can get the mid option by pressing down forward. It's 10 frames, and the low often clips them, but if they know the string, they can low parry it. If they block every single hit, it's -16, and you're wide open to punishment. But the thing with the infinite kick string is it's also a mental mix-up whether or not you do the mid or low, but it also allows you to continue the string after. So often the 5th hit, if they're expecting to punish you after the 4th hit, after they guard the 4th hit, the 5th hit can catch them and stop them from punishing you, which is pretty good. I don't think he has anything until Wall Rising 14 frames. So his 14 frame Wall Rising punishment is his go-to slide mix-up, 50-50. 2-3. Wall Rising 2-3. And Wall Rising 2-4. Wall Rising 2-3 gives a mini combo on hit. 54 damage. The 4-4-3, the timing's sort of tight, although they made it easier in Season 3. So this should be very consistent if you get the hang of it. His Wall Rising 2-4 gives plus 18 frame advantage. So you can do a 4-3-3-3-3 uninterruptible by jabs or anything. Or you can also do down back 3+4. There's many options you could do. But if you want to do a mid or a low mix-up after, I would suggest those two. His launch is really sketch. Like, he has a 15 frame technically, but you have to crouch cancel and get your hop kick, which is pretty hard to do in a match. So I just settle, usually, with the 2-3. His stagger punishment is flip kick. Comes out 18 frames. Gives the most damage out of all his options. And yeah, I think that's it for his punishment. Let's move on to combos, I guess. So, as I said before, there are a lot of mini combos with the character. Like, you can add stuff on counter hit when it knocks down. 4-3-3-3-3. You want to do up. 4 up 3, 2 back 2s, and a 2-1. If you want to optimize. You can actually get the 3rd hit. Let me just show you. So if you time it correctly, you can actually get 3 back 2s. Oh, crap. Oh, the pain of playing lead back 2 loops being dropped. Yeah, if you time it correctly, you can actually get the 2-1 to connect fully, but the most consistent is just using 2 back 2s. So yeah, that's the combo for that move. 4-3-3-3-3. 4. Other mini combos. So if you command grab, you get a guaranteed blazing kick or 4-3+4. I mostly use the 4-3+4 because you get Oki. You can get a slide mix-up after. Really powerful. Keeps your opponent guessing while they're on the ground. Not too much to say. I covered Acid Rain already. You can get the Blazing Kick if you time it correctly. Or up back 3. Okay, so next section I'll be talking about would be just his back 3 pickups. The moves that leave him able to pick up people with back 3, if you don't have the execution for it, you can always do a Hitman stance 4, you can always do a blazing kick. So like stuff like this. If you can't micro dash or pick up, just do a blazing kick. The blazing kick is done using down back back. Or was it down? It's down down back rather. My bad on the notation. Down down back 4 for blazing kick. So the stuff like this, they all give blazing kick. But if you have the execution for it, you want to do the back 3 pickup. You have to micro dash in and then back 3 to pick them up, which takes like timing. It's pretty strict, but once you're in rhythm, once you get used to the character, it should be easy peasy. it'll come second to nature. Or, yeah, it'll come second nature to you. So yeah, that was his back 3-3 pickups. So 1+2. Counter hit, you can pick them up, do your combo. 4-4-4 does the same thing. Like I said before, up forward 3-4, or like I showed you before, up forward 3-4 does that. Back 4 actually gets you that, and also sidestep right 3+4. You can get the pickup if they're close enough to you. Sidestep right 3+4 isn't that good of a move. I don't use it too much, so I don't know. I don't know how the interactions work, depending on angle. But like, yeah, sometimes it's not possible to pick them up. A blazing kick would do in that situation for the follow-up. The back 3-3 combos are as follows. Oh, actually, yeah, I should be talking about down 3. That's the most important. Why did I miss that? So let's just start with down 3, I guess, for the combos. Down 3, if you pick them up with back 3-3, you can get 3 back 2s, a screw, and then the ender, which I'll be covering later. Most of his combo paths are the same, so once you find out one, they usually apply for most of the other things. The only exceptions are the get up kicks and I think counter hit. Hitman stands for, which you use 2-3 to pick up. So yeah, down 3 on counter hit, you have to go into Hitman to pick them up. You have to do the back 3-3. You get a screw or whatever. You can use this. You can use instant while rising 2-4, and you get your ender after, which is 4-2-1 or something like that. His other combos for getting the back 3-3, I like to do back 2, forward 2-1, another back 2, and a 2-1. You can adjust the combo by omitting some parts, depending on how much you want to carry them to the wall, because you want to optimize the situation every time. This is really important with Lee and combos. You want to maximize the damage. Well, I guess it applies to every character, but Lee has more control, I think, than most characters I've ever played. So, yeah. Like, you get a maximum of 3 back 2s, but you can control when you drop them off at the wall, and then you get your wall combo, which I'll show you later. So yeah, to recap, back 2, forward 4-1, another back 2, and then a 2-1 is max damage output. You can also do a run up down forward 3-2-3 to get a good wall splat sometimes, instead of the back 2 and then ender 2-1. Yeah, those were his back 3-3s pickups. What am I missing? Oh, yes. So, as I showed you, 1+2. You can use back 3-3 to pick them up. Like so. Some of his other moves have the same properties, like 2-1-1-1. Or 2-1-1 rather, and they have the same animation. All you have to do is crouch cancel, and then do your combo after the back 3-3. So you use back 3-3 to pick them up. So 2-1-1, 1+2. What am I missing? Let's see. 1+2, 2-1-1. There's another one, but I forget. But back 3-3 picks them all up, and then you do your combo from there, which is usually just 3 back 2 loops if you want to optimize. Screw, and then an ender of your choice. So let's get into actual combos from neutral and normal launchers, I guess, now. So I'll just cover his screws and his launchers first. So amongst his launchers are down forward 2, has hop kick, up forward 4. Hitman stance 2. Like the other launchers, like I showed you, which are pretty unique, have the back 2-3 pickup. Down 3 on counter hit. His magic 4 has a different path, where you have to do back 1-1, cancel it. Let me just demonstrate. Where you have to do the cancel. And it depends on how many counter hit 4s you're using. For one of them, you can do 4 up 3, back 2, instant while rising 2-4, and then your ender 2-1 in my case, 4-2-1. And if you do 2, you get less of a combo. You just do a jab to pick them up, a back 2, your screw, and then ender. If you're not used to Lee yet, you could just use forward 4-1, but it gives 2 less damage. What other launches does he have? So yeah, counter hit Hitman stance 4. You pick up using while rising 2-3. And has essentially the same combo path as the others. You get 2-3 as the filler, the 4 up 3 filler for most of your combos. So most of your combos start off with your launcher, a 4 up 3. You can get up to 3 back 2s if you want to optimize damage. And then you get a screw and then your ender. Amongst his enders are instant while rising 3-4, 4-2-1, and instant while rising 2-3. So yeah, depending on the situation, you can end your combos with that. You can also, like I like to do, just 1 back 2, and then another after the screw. And you only lose out on 1 back 2, and it's not a loop, so it's easier. So I think I covered most of his launchers. Let's move on to his screws, or his tailspins. So he has a forward 4-1, like I showed you in his combos. Tailspin. He has 2-1-3. He has instant while rising 2-4. This is achieved, like I said, in the misstep section, where I press forward, neutral, for the misstep, and then back neutral after the misstep. In that slight animation, he's ducking. You can get access to your while rising moves. While rising 3-3, stuff like that. I don't think you can get flip kick from it. This is very important because instant while rising 2-3, or 2-4 rather, is his go-to screw if you want to optimize damage as much as possible and wall carry. But his wall carry is fine without it if you just do forward 4-1. I wouldn't be too picky on that. You lose out on 2 damage for consistency. Forward 4-1 also recovers faster, so you can often get your ender better instead of running all the way and then doing the ender. Let me just show you what I mean real quick. If I can do consecutive back twos right now. So you can get that, but you have to start running right after the screw, and that takes some practice. Most often, or most of the time, you can actually whiff. So to make it consistent, you can just go for the forward 4-1. You lose out on 2 damage, but you always get the ender, usually, because of how fast you recover compared to while rising 2-4. Back 4 is also a screw. You use this after floor breaks, or wall breaks, rather. You can also use it in floor breaks, I guess. But it's pretty good for just continuing the combo after a wall break, like in Forced Outpost or something. If you have not done a screw yet. He has a natural screw, I guess, in back 2, 4, 3. This is your go-to if you don't, or if you can't do execution, basically. If you can't do his back twos or his other screws, you could also use that as combo filler. One combo that's pretty easy to do and does quite some damage is 4 up 3 after the hop kick. Back 2, 2, 1, 3, ender. 62 damage, not shabby, not too bad. And really no execution other than back 2ing and then pressing forward. So yeah, if you back 2, it doesn't do anything by itself, but if you press forward, you go into misstep. There's some timing on this, and to do back 2 loops, you have to press back 2 once Lee recovers. I like to just press forward after the back 2, and then press back and reset to neutral. And then do another back 2. And you can do many of these. Without the screw, you can get 6. Or without any like combo filler or anything, you can get 6 and then an ender. Oh crap. Well, yeah, it's kind of like inconsistent at times due to me being bad and it being relatively rhythm based and executionally based. Yeah, you can get that. If you do your filler, you can get 4 in combos. Or, yeah, you have to do ender, not your screw. So omitting the screw after the filler, whatever filler you choose to do, you get 4 back 2s and then your ender. So let me just demonstrate. Instant while rising 2-3 as an ender. Sometimes you want to do this instead of 2-1 because look at the distance, and also they high splat on the wall most of the time if you're close enough, so you can get some better wall combo finishes. If you do 4-2-1, that wasn't supposed to whiff. They just splatted on the wall. The lead just splatted on the wall. Oh my god. Well, I don't know if I'm going to edit this out. But like you could tell, you're very far away from them, so you have to do your low pickup. Lee has 2 wall combos, which he can do after his combos. He has down forward 1, 4-3, and then you get a guaranteed 3 after. Like so. Pretty good damage. And he has the thing I just showed you, which is down 4, 4, up 3. There are other options you could do, but those 2 are the ones you want to be doing right after combos. Down 4 if it's too far, and back 2 or down forward 1 into the others. So you could also use back 2. Back 2 is actually more consistent because you can move while doing it, and it has more range than down forward 1. Other enders include doing 4-3-4, but this is only unique. This is pretty unique in that you have to be close to the wall to be able to do this because the 2 hits are high compared to the mid and the low from the other wall combos. yeah, so I covered the Tailspins, I covered launchers, I covered wall combos. There's actually another path you can do instead of the down 3 after everything. So a lot of people do this a lot of people do this to people who don't know Lee that much. You can do up back 3 instead of down 3. It's not guaranteed, because if the opponent stands up by pressing up, they automatically block it, but it gives you a better situation from Oki. And it leads to some like nasty setups as well. Like so, if they don't tech or anything, you can do down forward 4 into a forward 4-3. Muriel likes to do this a lot, which is a Lee Twitch streamer, or who is a Lee Twitch streamer. Against like experienced players, you can't really do this. After the down forward 4, so if they get hit, let's say, by the up back 3, and your down forward 4 whiffs because they tech roll, you could catch them with 2-2-3 if they try to click any buttons because they think you whiffed your down forward 4 because they tech roll. So yeah, that's a nasty setup that you can do. So I covered the generalities of the combos. Let's just give you some combos now. So bread and butter, most consistent I would say, would just be what I just showed you. 4 up 3 after the hop kick, after your launcher. Back 2, screw, back 2, and then ender. For Lee's combos, you have to run up a lot, which is something you'll notice. And sometimes you can actually be prone to whiffing because you don't run up enough. So you got a deep run up. This probably is most consistent, I would say. If you're not familiar with back 2s, but you can do instant while rising moves. You can also do the forward 2-1 or forward 4-1 screw. I like to do this because you have a lot of options for the ender. You can do all 3 of them instead of when you do 3 back 2s, a screw, you can only do 4-2-1 to catch them because they're too far. So yeah, like I just showed you, you could do the instant while rising 2-3. I didn't get it that time because my timing's off. You could also do while running 3-4. Knocks them down. It's back techable, but if they don't, you have a lot of frame advantage and you could work with Oki. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Oops. You can transition to Hitman. Transition to Hitman after forward, or while running. While running 3-4. You can transition to Hitman using 3+4. So if they don't tech, you can get a guaranteed up forward 4. So that's something to keep in mind. If you transition to Hitman, you recover quite some few frames faster, but you only have access to the Hitman Hitman stance moves. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so that was his bread and butter. If you're not comfortable, you can do what I just showed you before. Something like that. Comes out from most of his launchers. For Hitman Stance 2, specifically, Hitman Stance 2, you have to run up and 4 up 3. Oh, I actually didn't touch upon this, but his back 4 is a launcher, of course, as well. I didn't cover that in the launcher section, even though I should have. You can, if you did not transition to Hitman, you can 4 up 3 and get your combo like that. Or you can, if you transition to Hitman, do the instant while rising 2-3 in placeholder of the 4 up 3. Take some practice. Like with Lee, you have to be very keen to most of the stuff you're doing. If it counter hits, stuff like that, because some of the paths are different. But I guess that applies with every character. His get-up kick on counter hit is also a launcher. I guess I didn't cover that. But you pick up using while rising 2-3. It whiffs on axis, like off axis. That specific combo. Yeah, so I got you the bread and butter. I got you the easy combo. Instead of the while rising 2-4 in the combos that I show you, you can do forward 4-1. But while rising 2-4 is more like muscle memory to me, so I do that a lot. So we got that. If you really can't do the other combo, you can also do this. You gotta run up all the way. And I think it connects. Crap. Why does Lee's wall carry have to be so good? I have to like dash back after every startup. Oh my god, what am I doing? I don't do this combo much, so it's not on my muscle memory. Oh, what am I doing? So 4 up 3, back 2, 4, back 2, 4, 3, and then you run up, and then you can get a back 2 if you want after, if you're deep enough, and you can get your ender. But as you can see, it doesn't do much damage, so you have to do some executional stuff to get it. What else? Blazing kick, I guess I should cover. This is his most optimal combo for a launcher, 81 damage. You get a instant or delayed hop kick or something. You get a hop kick. You get a delayed hop kick, 4 up 3, a back 2 to catch. And then you do your screw of choice. I like to do 2-4, you can do forward 4-1 as well, since it's Season 3 exclusive. What else? This combo that I showed you, the optimal combo, doesn't work with every character. On females it doesn't work. So I would just stick to, if you want it to be consistent, just wait till they drop and just do your normal combo. Yeah, something like that. I messed up my wall under there. Yeah, like you have to run up and then you have to do down 4, 4 up 3. So sometimes you get down 4-4 if you press too many times. Yeah, it could be challenging because you have to be pretty precise with this character if you want pickups like back through 3 and stuff like that. I'll dedicate this section now, I guess, to back 2s. So back 2s are a bane of any League player's existence. They give him his incredible, renowned wall travel, but they're pretty hard to pick up. It all relies on a rhythm. If you can pick up the rhythm, if you can pick up when to press back 2, you should be good to go. Some tips, I guess, would be, what should I do? What did I do when I started off? I would just hop kick and just back 2 and see if you can get 7. That's the maximum, I think. Yeah, 7 is the maximum. I would just hop kick, do back 2s, just practice. This is all practice. You really can't teach this. There's no real easy trick. You just have to get used to the timing. Press back 2. Let it sit out a bit after the misstep. Back 2 misstep. Back 2 misstep. Back 2 forward, back 2 forward, back 2 forward. I like to back 2 forward, hold back, back 2 forward again, hold back, neutral, back 2 forward, hold back, neutral. So, back to forward. Back to forward, hold. Oh, this is so hard to enunciate while doing it, but basically, you want to let go of your stick, but you want to hold back right after your misstep to cancel the misstep. So you want a neutral in there somewhere. I think that's where most players forget. I think that's an easy way to do back twos. I think you could just do back twos like letting go. You don't have to hold back, but holding back helps me, I find. Just make sure you're not doing it too fast. That's most issues with beginners learning back two loops. Because if you do it too fast, you get nothing. Like you can see, I'm pressing 2, but the back 2 doesn't come out like that. So yeah, you just want to be patient and learn the timing. Practice using hop kick. Like I showed you, get 7 in a row. And get this consistently, you can do it in combos. You want to try in the combos too, of course, to get your muscle memory prepped. What other combos are there? So I showed you back through threes. I think that's about it. Like I told you, most of his combos are very similar. You get 4 up 3 as a filler. You can get up to 3 back 2s. And then you get your screw. And then you get an ender. And then you want to get your wall combo after, if possible. So just gauge the distance between how far you are from the wall. And you can get your optimal damage. That's for every character, of course, but yeah, for Lee, you want as much damage as possible, as his pokes don't do too much. You have to basically guess right more times than your opponent, because your opponent can probably kill you in 5 or 6 moves. Maybe less. And Lee's launchers aren't too good, so you want to optimize every single little bit of damage if you can. So to recap, his bread and butter, 4 up 3, 3 back 2s. Actually, I'll just show you the easy version I like to do. Back 2, screw, back 2, ender. You just really need to practice the instant while rising if you want to do this. I got to around red ranks without even learning back 2s fully. I wasn't like confident in it, so I never did it. But you could get to red ranks just doing the bread and butter I showed you, because it does 63 damage and has really good wall travel. You could also like adjust your combo depending on how far you are on to the wall. So like, this is probably my favorite combo out of all the Lee combos. That's my go-to. Hence, bread and butter. I guess I didn't cover down 3. You get your 3 back 2s after the back 3 pickup. And then you get a screw, and then you get your ender. So yeah, that's it for his combos, I guess. I think I covered most, if not everything. There's other stuff you could do for the combos as well, but it's not optimal. You could do like blazing kick. You could do this for a screw, I guess. It's not that good. Yeah, it's not optimal. So I'm teaching you most of not like most of the combos that I use in real like fights. Yeah, so that's it for the combos. Let's move on to his game plan. So Lee, as stated before, is a poke heavy counter hit character. He wants to annoy you, chip you down, get a counter hit if he gets a good read, and then just launch you and just pressure you by carrying you to the wall and then exerting pressure after his Oki. So let's say I launch your opponent, get him to the wall. What now, right? They're gonna be on the ground. When now? He's very scary at the wall. There's a lot of options you could do, but my go-to is just the slide mix-up. You want to keep your opponent guessing at all times. I think most of the time, whenever opponent is just down on the ground, I always enforce slide mix-up. It's to keep them guessing, and it's like a free time for you to do it. Of course, you have to like be careful of like spring kicks and stuff like that, so just hold back if you react to it, but you always want to be doing slide mix-up from full crouch. So to reiterate, slide is done from full crouch, down forward, down forward 3. If you do it fast enough, it's unseeable. You can get like a hint of the slide if you don't do it fast. But if you do it fast enough, there's literally no animation. So just practice your slides. It's very important for Lee's game plan. You don't need it, of course, but it enhances your offense like tenfold. Actually, I would say you need it in higher levels of play, because you want your opponent to respect lows from you. So yeah, you do the slide mix-up by using your while rising 2-4 or 2-3. I like to do 2-3 because at the wall it high splats, so you can get a 4-up 3 instead of a down forward 1 only, and then you get your forward 4-3, whatever ender you choose, down back 3, down 3, stuff like that. Just show you. That was like a horrible. You could also oh my god, Lee, wall splat, please. You can go into Hitman after this, and you can use your wall bounce from there, and it's safe. Pretty good. I guess I'll show you like combos. I shouldn't have reset from his wall bounce. You just want to do a 4-3, and then you just want to do your normal wall combo. Off axis is kind of tricky. That was a proper wall splat, but like off axis, you can get something like this, where you can only get like a 4-4-3, or sometimes a lot of League players like to do this actually. Back 4, down 3. Pretty good as well. Down 3 and 4-4-3 are your best options to get more damage if they side splat into a wall. Or you could also do 4. Yeah, so in general, you just want to start offense with down forward 1, or do a slide mix-up from far. You could do 4-4-3 as a check, back 4, keep out. What's hard about Lee is he doesn't have too many plus frames. His 4-3+4 is a good front just frame move, plus frame move. He has while running 3+4, which is very good for approaching opponents, but it's very linear, so it's susceptible to getting stepped. But it's +6, so you can do this for free. You can do a 1+2 for free, or you could go for a slide mix-up if you think they're not going to click any buttons. Also, most of his moves actually leave it on minus, so like down 3, like I showed you. Because if you down forward 1, they can jab. You want a down 3 to cover that option, but like more often than not, you'll be left minus because of your down 3, and your options are pretty limited. But you can do the power crush after the down 3, you could do a cancel into a slide mix-up, you could do full crouch 4. You have some options, but most of the time, the situation resets to neutral after you do this. But this is how you usually play Lee. You want to be throwing down 3s, you don't want to not use down 3, but down 3 on hit is minus, so just keep that in mind. If you think they're going to jab, you could also Hitman Stance 2, because it evades it, it crushes it. Hitman Stance 4 also crushes it, because it's like a snake edge, and is a counter hit launcher. But it's pretty risky, it's a stagger on block, so just watch out. Yeah, like his down back 3, his other pokes, like, your opponent has to not be clicking buttons for that to work because the startup is so fucking slow. It's like if you were playing Brian and you were to do a hatchet right after down forward 1. I guess. Hatchet might be a little bit faster. I don't know the frames on hatchet, the startup frames. But yeah, it doesn't crush her at all, so like you're taking a risk for getting counter hit in that situation. But down back 3 is good for continuing pressure because it leaves you plus on block. I usually just use down back 3+4 because it's ranged, it has some tracking to both sides. So yeah, those are his low options if you want to do a low after down forward 1. You want to sidestep, you want to forward 4 if you think they're going to jab, stuff like that. Yeah, you just want to poke your opponent because using down forward 1 on block, it gives you a lot of room to operate because you're close to your opponent and your jabs don't whiff. So you could do a lot of pressure moves, stuff like this, just continue pressure. And then if you get your read, you get your counter hit, you get the combo, you get the wall, and then it's what I just showed you, which is you just mix them up at the wall. So a normal combo from Lee does like 63 damage if you optimize it, or 66. After eating this, if they guess wrong, let's say, so let's just say the match just starts or something, right? And they approach me. If you get a launch, you can often just end the round like that because it just does so much damage if they guess wrong. I hope I don't get the side spot. Like this by itself, as you can see, 81 damage, insane. Yeah, it's actually pretty nutty, his wall damage, but his combo damage is pretty average, above average, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's locked behind execution, and there are characters with better combo damage, like Paul, and even the newly released Fakum Ram, without execution. So his combo damage will lead to the wall with the wall carry, and then you want to go for your mix-ups. That's your general offensive game plan. If they start to turtle up, you can use back 1-1 to approach. Your father likes to do that a lot, who I consider the best lead player in the world. He uses back 1-1 as a check, like a range check, because his Lee's jab range is like pitiful, so you want to be using this instead. You can transition to Hitman using 1+2, so you can get access to your moves. They'll be scared of the third hit, so it's like a mental frame advantage thing. You could cancel it. There's many options you could do. If you're too far for down forward 1, you could do this approach using that, and then you can start your offense like that. So that's like a tip you could do. In this range, you just do slide mix-ups, and just be careful not to get launched or get hit by a mid while you're doing the mix-up. If you're far away, you can also enforce slide mix-ups. Just input it again and get closer to your opponent. A lot of people like to just backdash to escape the mix-up, so just slowly creep towards them. When I do the slide, I always press back, or down back as you can see as my last command, because it gets me back my wall rising options. Because if you do the slide command, and then you do a 2-4 or 2-3, you won't get it, I think. You can also buffer the slide pretty long, as you can tell. I'm just like holding it. There's like a time where you can't, but you can buffer it pretty long, as you can tell. Lee also needs to learn how to, like, Lee players also need to learn how to play somewhat on the second player slide, because slide is so crucial. I would compare it to Geese with his stand-up throw, where you have to learn how to play from player 2 because the side switches. Yeah, so that's it for his game plan. You want to really just be turtling up, and when you see the opportunity, You just poke and then get your counter hits, get them to the wall, pressure them at the wall. That's how you play Lee. At least that's how I play Lee. I don't know if there's any other variations, but that seems like the most optimal way to play Lee. So yeah, that's his game plan. Some tips I can give you guys before I end this video on Lee. If your opponent is very low and you just want some chip damage, down 2 or down 4 is a good option. It's 12 frames and it pokes him. Like, let's say he's like 10 HP or something. You just tap him like that. That ends the round, and it's not too much risk if you do the follow-up string. As you can tell, like, it's minus 16 if you don't finish the string, so you want to finish the string. Like, it's minus 16 on hit. Pretty ridiculous. So yeah, usually when I do down 4, I usually like to just do the high because it's safe on block. And most people just hold back and block strings. Down 4 on hit, I didn't cover that before, but down 4 on hit, you can low parry it. So they can still low parry even though they can't guard, which is interesting. They can low parry the 3 lows, even if on hit. So just watch out for that. You don't want to be spamming this against people who know that. Other round enders you could do, if they're like 10 HP, you could do his 10 hit. A lot of people don't know that his 10 hit starts from his down forward 1, which is inputted by using down forward 1, 2, 2, 1. This is like a safe way to get your 10 hit to stop if they block everything. The first 3 hits are natural, so if you clip them with the down forward 1, everything is natural. Or the 2 hits that follow are natural. You could also like finish it, I guess, but it's pretty risky. What else? There are a lot of specifics on Lee I can't teach unless like I edit this video and like show you like... Yeah, I guess that's an optimal way if they're off axis, stuff like that. If you get a side splat at the wall, something like this, you can sidestep and back 2, 4, 3 for a combo, for a side screw. This wall is pretty straight, so I'm not sure if I can get it on this wall. I sidestepped too much there. Like something like this. You could do that. I'll be linking some videos I used to learn more about these situations and trying to optimize Lee in the description below. And they probably can teach it better than I can, the videos. So I covered round enders, I covered some off-axis stuff. What else is there? There's some tech, like if you do if you finish this, it's -1 on hit, or on block rather, which is for a down 4, 4 up 3. If you finish that, if you finish the spin, you can do a 2, 2, 3 or something like that because you're not too negative, and it catches like most options, unless they jab back or something. So something like this, pretty good for catching people. What other flowcharty stuff can I do? Can I show you guys? I think that's about it. Back 112. I guess I didn't cover this before, but back 112 is back techable. If they don't tech, you get a guaranteed blazing kick. I should have covered that. My bad. But yeah, I think I covered most, if not everything that I wanted to cover. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you learned a little bit or a lot more about Lee after coming away from this video. And if you're interested, I stream on Twitch sometimes at twitch.tv/Soulist. So if you want to watch me there, you can. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching my guide.